Welcome to Perspectives in Mobile, the news podcast from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. Join us discussing the world of telecommunications, technology, and mobile innovations. From Florence, Ricardo Amati.
The global mobile ecosystem is being pushed beyond its traditional boundaries. Roaming models built for national networks are struggling to keep up. Identity frameworks are being tested across new environments, and connectivity is no longer confined to land. Offshore networks, private infrastructure, and emerging non-terrestrial capabilities are all forcing the industry to rethink how mobility actually works. What's happening at these edges may offer a clear signal of where the entire ecosystem is heading, particularly when it comes to seamless user experience, interoperability, and the future of value creation in telecom. Welcome to MEF Perspectives on Mobile. Today's guest is Elie Hanna, CEO of Tampnet. Thank you for joining, Elie.
Thanks for having me.
Operating one of the world's largest offshore communication networks, Tampnet connects critical industries beyond terrestrial coverage, and in doing so sits at the intersection of some of the most shifts in mobile today. We will explore in the conversation how mobile connectivity is expanding beyond terrestrial networks, where today's models break across roaming, identity, and interoperability, and how new ecosystem approaches are emerging to rebuild the mobile value chain. Elie, we talk about a global mobile ecosystem, but in reality, it's been mostly terrestrial. Are we now entering a phase where that assumption breaks?
Let me, before I answer the question, a little bit tell you about since when we have coverage out offshore. So we have coverage offshore since mobile coverage. The company has been operating since 2001. We started with subsea fiber, and then we overlaid the network. We own networks. We own over 600 square kilometers of networks in the Gulf of America, Mexico, in the North Sea, the Norwegian Sea, Trinidad, Canada, and other places, Mexico, and hopefully Brazil soon. So those networks, they are subsea fiber, and then they overlaid with a mobile network. 4G, 5G.
So nothing really new. It's about 20 years.
So that nothing new in this particular on these networks. This is just a continuation of the onshore networks. But as well, we operate hybrid networks where we have introduced LEO and satellite into our solutions. So to answer your question, really, I would say that from a roaming perspective, we don't do B2C, we do B2B2C. So we allow all the mobile network operators onshore to actually roam into our network. So they either roam in our network or we enable MOC-N with RAN sharing. So I would say that in general, what's breaking is not the roaming itself, but it's the assumption that a single access model can serve all the environments, whether it's offshore, whether it's remote, or whether it's industrial domains, that force us to blend different models together, like from a native access to network sharing to traditional roaming, always often at the same time. And I think this is similar, maybe similarly to mobile network operators, but since we operate in really mission critical networks that are offshore, then it becomes very crucial for us to be able to combine those elements together.
Yeah. What changes in terms of identity and billing?
Nothing really. From a billing perspective, we don't. The way we work is that we work with a mobile network operator onshore to really have. They buy from us bulk data, and then they bill their customers the way they bill their customers. Now, what's happening is that if you look at the offshore rates out there, the roaming rates, they were extremely expensive, and they are in most cases still extremely expensive. And the reason, if you track the reason why they are extremely expensive, it comes from the vessel and maritime segment, where they used to charge subscribers. If you go on a cruise, you get like a bill that is extremely expensive before Leo came on board, for just a few megabytes, because they backhaul through geo satellites. And then what happened is that when Leo came in and destroyed all this model, then lots of these mobile operators still kept the roaming very, very high tariffs out there, except I would say in the US, where we had a deal with AT&T since many years now to expand, to do roam like home, and expand their FirstNet coverage, because AT&T in the US has a FirstNet agreement with the government for first responders and public safety, etc., to expand the network into our network. And now recently we started having agreements in Europe with operators. Odido was the first one to basically also do roam like home in the North Sea. And
right. If you had to describe in a few lines, really, what roam like at home philosophy? What is the company's intention? What is the mission there?
So it is really to give the subscribers out there, the people like us, if we go offshore, to be able to use our phones the same way as we use it, at home. It's literally an extension of the geography offshore. Now you can ask me, then they are losing money by doing that, because they're paying us. But
what's the next question?
Yeah, but they're keeping the same. In a way, it's just a redistribution of the profits, because what happens is that if when they do this, when you do a roam like home, the nature of the offshore market is that people go there and go back onshore, and these people has families, friends, etc. So if these people are on your network offshore, they are also on your network onshore, and then you're gaining also by expanding to families and friends, etc. So from their revenue perspective, they calculate all this together. And then from a subscriber perspective, it's good, because then you are not paying extra when you're offshore, roaming.
So you're saying that your model doesn't undermine key revenue streams for mobile operators?
No, so far with the operators who have seen the opportunity, it's really, I would say it's really a win-win for everyone. Now there are some operators, to be very transparent, that are still skeptical on this, and then and they keep those very high rates out there. And I mean, you need all point of views, and that's okay. I mean, all we need is to work with some of the operators who share our philosophy to offer seamless communication at fair prices out there, and that's a good alternative for everyone who is out there.
What do they say to operators that are skeptical, as you were saying? I mean, what would you say to convince them that it's not the case to be skeptical?
I mean, there are business cases that they put together, and then I respect their business case. Their business cases, if they are only driven by money and by business, I mean, we're all driven by money, but not only by money. But if they're only driven by money, and then they see that they don't have so many roamers out there, and it doesn't really impact their their overall revenues, and it's more headache rather than a good solution, then they opt for that. Yeah.
Elie, give me news here. Of course, you said that you have agreements in the US and Europe is the next.
Yes.
What's happening there? Any discussion, any active discussions that you can share with us to replicate the model with other operators? What regions?
There are things.
Something new.
Yeah, there are things out there there are some press releases. Odido was the first one out there, and KPN followed in the Netherlands. Then we have discussions in the UK. We have discussions today in Poland. We have discussions in Germany. We have discussions in Norway. So there are now many discussions for both models, for the models of Roam Like Home, but also for the mock-N RAN sharing model, which is, in my opinion, opens up even more use cases and more revenue streams for both the onshore network operator and for us.
Would you say that interoperability is the plus here for operators, for your partners?
What do you mean by it's a plus?
Is something that could be developed more and could be monetized and could be efficient.
Look, from a technical perspective, interoperability, as you know, works now quite well, and it's no problem. It is, as you're saying and referring to, it's a commercial case first, right? The roles need to be clear on who provides access, who owns the subscriber in those cases, who settles the traffic. From a technical perspective, all this is understood. Then there is the commercial build-up, and then there are many ways to build the cases commercially.
About identity, we were talking quickly about that at the beginning. But when a subscriber connects offshore, how is identity handled? Is it still like a home network relationship? Does anything change?
Not really. Identity remains with the home operator. I think that's the main anchor. So the identity always remains with the home operator, and then then it depends if the subscriber is having access via the mock-N, the RAN sharing, or via classical roaming. And in this case, like the authentication, the policy, the charging, it's really all of them anchored in the home core. So if you're doing mock-N RAN sharing, let's say with whoever, let's say with Odido, and then the home core is in Odido, then the identity is handled in Odido.
Right. So SIM-based identity model is still there.
Yes.
But something different. Is there a different layer for hybrid networks? I mean, when you have a mix of terrestrial and offshore.
I think you need an abstraction layer maybe to add to this layer. I don't know if it's a replacement, but I think that you need to have an abstraction layer that allows identity, policy, trust, to carry consistently across the native access and the shared RAN and roaming environments.
Mm-hmm. Do you see an obstacle in legacy roaming agreements? The agreements that are there have been there for years, and you're going to propose something different there. Is there an obstacle, or you see that people is looking beyond this legacy?
So I think if you're talking still about roaming, I think roaming will be always needed, right? You will always need a place to fall back when you're out there as a subscriber. how I think the commercial roaming agreements between companies are evolving, and I think that will continue to evolve. I don't believe that the subscriber should be the one who is taking the big cost of this. Now there will be exceptions, like there are many countries that have inbound and outbound almost same, and those roaming agreements maybe are netted between the different operators, different countries. There are countries that are more tourist countries that have much more inbound than outbound. Then this mainly, maybe for those operators, they need to pay a little bit more towards the other operator because they have these subscribers are using their network much more, and then they need to expand capex much more. For us offshore, these discussions are not really happening because because for us offshore, it's really the mission criticality of the service that is the most important. And then when it comes to the number of roamers out there, it is not so many compared to onshore.
That's clear. Major priority in the mobile ecosystem. We're, our audience is mainly in the mobile ecosystem, of course, and it's the API economy. Okay, the GSMA is insisting, for example, the Open Gateway. There is a push towards exposing network capabilities via APIs. Does that model work in offshore environments?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it works the same way as it works in the onshore environments. It would work in the in the offshore environments. I think it works. Whether this business is as big as what some of the vendors are talking about, I am not sure. But from a technical perspective, of course, it works.
Another question is maybe a stupid question, but
No.
who owns the API layer in your model? You or the operators, your partners?
Yeah, it is not stupid at all because it's not clear.
Right.
It's no, it is not. It's not a simple answer to it. I think there is a shared ownership, I believe. I believe that the operators would own, the subscriber policy. The infrastructure providers need to still orchestrate the access. And then you have whoever owns the platforms and whoever, works on the platforms that needs to put all this together. So the answer to your question is not simple. It's not one owner of this whole API layer.
And just in general, Elie, one big debate in the telecom industry, it's about platformization. The industry, many operators are still thinking in connectivity silos. And even, something that we saw in Europe lately, the new proposed rules about connectivity, etc. I mean, they don't go exactly to a platformization of the industry, Do you think that the telecom industry is serious about going beyond those silos, these connectivity silos? What do you see? Because of course, yours is a very privileged point of view, as an offshore telecom.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think they're more serious than before. And I don't know if it's from conviction or necessity. But the more you will have hybrid access models like the ones I was describing before. and then the more it will force this platformization to mature. So I don't think that anyone will have in the future a way to oppose it if they want to oppose it. It needs to mature and it needs to get there at some point. The speed, I don't know.
Right. So the shift from MNO control to a multiplayer
Yes.
ecosystem is something that you see happening anyway.
Yes, well, it has to
More
happen. I don't think that an MNO can continue to do things the same way and oppose this. Because I think that you have hybrid access models that are coming more and more, and then you would need to basically force this to mature. There is no way that it can remain silo like you described before.
About the convergence of terrestrial plus offshore plus NTN. A device may soon move seamlessly between terrestrial, offshore, and satellite networks. Who coordinates that experience? Who is the boss in coordinating
Yeah.
the three aspects of convergence?
Yeah.
If there is one.
Yeah, no, there is no one. I think the home operator would always own the subscriber relationship. That is definitely that's a given. In some cases, the enterprises would own the business context. Some cases, maybe the operators, the infrastructure providers, as I said before, would provide the access, would ensure the access. In many cases, the infrastructure provider and the operator, home operator, are the same, but in some cases they're not, and more in those cases are separate. So I don't think that it will work if one party dominates when you have all these, this ecosystem starts to mature.
About economics and settlement, are you happy with the current settlement models? Are they sustainable in a multi-party ecosystem like the one you are describing here?
I didn't really explore this in details, but if I am just trying to guess, I think that this needs to evolve.
About clearing financial flows.
Yeah.
So it needs to be. And the next step it's about regulation, of course.
Yeah.
So Roam like at home in Europe is enabled. What role does regulation play offshore? I mean, how important it is? How would you like to be regulated? What they should do better? Or what's your take on the
from a regulation perspective?
Yeah,
I think the regulation it must allow network sharing and cross-border operation. So that needs to happen. Again, the hybrid networks, the ones that you mentioned before, they are definitely challenging the nation-centric assumptions. So what happened is that the regulators need to move and need to adapt. And we know that they are not always the most fast-moving body. And it's not, and to their case, I mean, this is not simple, because they are tasked to regulate, nation-centric, but then those hybrid model are going across, right? So it's quite complex. I don't want to be in their place. It's not a simple answer. Like many people may question and really are not happy with what the regulators do. But in this case, it's quite a complex question to solve. But they have no choice but to come together and then fix it.
So some quick fire questions, Elie. Which part of today's mobile model won't exist in 5-10 years, on your opinion? Think about it.
I think I think if we stick to roaming, which is the topic of this discussion, I think the notion that roaming alone can solve, the global mobility issue, that will be gone even before 5 years.
Right.
You need hybrid models. You need different models to be able to solve this global mobility when you add all the constellations and everything else to the ecosystem.
And another quick question. Beyond the narrative about APIs, what's the real monetization possibility there? Real monetization or industry narrative?
I'll give you my personal my personal view on this. I think there is for the operators, for us, there is monetization opportunity. I don't know exactly how much it is today, but I know that it is not in the scale that I've at least myself been reading out there in the billions of dollars.
Who will be the winner in the ecosystem shift in the next future among operators, platforms, or verticals?
I think it can be any, but it's the one who can combine all these models and coordinate them like pragmatically. So if you can really combine it and coordinate, we didn't talk about the coordination of these between the traffic between the different hybrid models. So I think the one who emerges that can do that, not on maybe only a nation, but globally, that will be the big winner. Maybe it's a dream.
Thank you, Elie. Elie Hanna, CEO of Tampnet, sharing a perspective from one of the most dynamic frontiers in mobile connectivity. Thank you, Elie. Thanks for listening to MEF Perspectives on Mobile. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe for more conversation on the technologies, business model, and partnerships that are changing the future of mobile. Thank you for listening. I'm Riccardo Amati. Good luck with your work.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Perspectives in Mobile. Join us next as we explore telecoms, technology, and mobile innovations. Stay tuned, stay connected, and let's unlock the mobile potential together.